My name is David Clayton, and my profession is an animation supervisor at FMX. Some of the movies I've worked on are Lord of the Rings,
Evil is stirring in Mordor. The ring has awoken.
King Kong, Avatar, Hobbit, and Better Man.
For the next 2 hours, your ass is mine!
Better Man is the latest movie that I've worked on, and that's why I'm here at FMX. I got started in animation during my university degree. It was a Bachelor of Arts, majoring in communication design. I did that in Brisbane, Australia. And about halfway through the degree, they offered animation as a course, and I gravitated towards that. And once I began, I never really looked back, and I kind of ignored all my other subjects and I really focused on it. And then after completing my degree, I got some jobs in Brisbane doing like post-production work of music videos, advertisements. But after a couple of years of that, a university colleague of mine and we made an animated short film, which I sort of think about that as the end of my education in a way. Even though it was us doing a short film off our own steam, we learned a lot, and we used it to apply for jobs. And it was how I got the job at FMX, where I still am today after 22 years. As an animation supervisor, you have to oversee the animation, of course, by reviewing the work of the animators each day, twice a day, in morning dailies and afternoon rounds. They'll submit the work, and I will review it in the context of the sequence, and I'll give them notes and changes. And then we just do that each day, and usually by the end of the week, we're ready to send a sequence to our clients. And then I would have a meeting with them, and they can give us their feedback. And then we start again, and we review, iterate. And yeah, I have to make sure that the animation puppets are good, and they're going to get us what we need, and functional and fast. We need our puppets to be really responsive. Yeah. And just, sometimes we're bidding work, planning, strategizing how we're going to get the work done in the right time, which departments would be best for which specific piece of work. And I mean, at FMX, we have a motion capture stage, so I'm often there, because all the work that we do generally is trying to achieve photorealism. So we do lean on mocap a lot. Also facial animation, I supervise that. And sometimes crowd animation, if we have an army or a crowd. Yeah, so anything that moves in the movie or the TV series that we're working on, it's my job to make sure it's moving as best that it can. The movie I've just worked on, Better Man, when we started the project, Michael Gracie, the director, had already pre-visualized or storyboarded most of the sequences in conjunction with video viz. I think different filmmakers would use different techniques. Storyboards are still alive and well, I would say. Maybe they're digital storyboards or in the form of like animatics. But yeah, we still see storyboards frequently. Yeah.
We'll be strong. I know we'll carry on. 'Cause if there's somebody calling me on, he's the one. If there's somebody calling me on, she's the one.
The resolution of our animation submissions, when I first started back on Lord of the Rings, they were at 512 by something. They were quite small. Um, and then we upgraded soon after to 1K, which was nice to just get that extra resolution and detail in our animation work. But I remember on The Hobbit, I was pushing to get our submissions at 2K because I just thought, that's probably how we're going to output, a lot of these images in the final. I'd just like to see it at that resolution for our animation. There was a bit of resistance because, of course, it's going to take up more space and everything. But eventually we did it, and I think that's still what we do. We can do 4K now if we wanted to, but it doesn't seem like there's any real advantage from an animation perspective. So yeah, all our daily submissions are at 2K. The projects I'm especially fond of, I can't go past Better Man, which was the latest film I worked on, and I will always describe it as a gem of a project. It was just very different, unique, a real bold visual concept to make Robbie Williams on screen as a monkey. A really great team, a great director, a crazy idea, all things that, after you've been in the industry for a while, that sort of stuff is really exciting to work on. But I've loved all the movies that I've worked on. We've been really lucky at Weta to work on amazing stuff, from Avatar to Lord of the Rings to King Kong. Yeah, they've all been special in their own way. One little one that is probably worth mentioning is I worked on Krampus, which was a low-budget film, I don't know, about 7 years ago. And it was a live-action film with lots of like practical effects and prosthetics and stuff, but it did have a little flashback sequence in there that was only 3 minutes long, but it was completely animated, and it was animated in a style, a stop-motion style, even though it was done in 3D, and it felt like a short film within the greater film. And early on when I was in my early 20s, I did make a short film, and I love that world of animated shorts, but you don't often get to do them, especially in real life production. So to do a little animated short within a live action film felt really special. So that's something I'm really fond of.
Me with the floor show, kicking with your torso. Boys getting high and the girls even more so. Wave your hands if you're not with a man. Can I kick it?
Yes, you can!
The Regent Street sequence of Better Man is the centerpiece. It's challenging because it's a one-er that lasts for over 3.5 minutes. But not only that, it's singing, it's dancing, it's very densely populated with all sorts of interest and choreography and action. It's sort of visually stunning. But our character, Robbie, he needs to be carefully animated for all of those 5,000 frames of animation, especially the lip sync animation, because Michael Gracie, the director, was adamant that the musical numbers needed really solid lip sync singing animation because they were the centerpiece of the film. Everyone would be looking at Robbie, and he needs to be feeling like he's really singing the song. Yeah, so that's probably the biggest challenge. I think we still need actors, even in this world of AI. I've always been a creative. I've always appreciated the handcrafting of animation and taking an actor's performance and the realism and the humanity of that and transposing it onto our digital characters. I've never believed that a computer could do that as well as a real living, breathing human. But I mean, obviously there's huge advances, but I don't know. I'm skeptical that AI will ever be able to give us something long-term that nourishes us the way a human actor does. I mean, we want to look on the screen and see stories that are being told by humans. We want to see ourselves reflected in that. So that's my hope and my belief that we will always need actors and humans behind the camera and in front of the camera. That's a really good question. I mean, when I go to the movies, if I'm seeing something really visual effects heavy or something animated, I'm often with my daughters, and yeah, I can appreciate watching the film with them. I don't get too hung up on all the technical details of how they did stuff. Um, but if I'm by myself, then maybe I'd seek out more, character study type movies. Um, yeah, I think I find them more rewarding to watch, rather than looking at more explosions or visual effects or animated things, which is what I'm looking at all day.